Hi, I'm Nancy with Your Yoga Flows Back Care series. I designed these classes to help you find the perfect combination of mobility and stability in your body. So we'll go through a series of movements that will help you strengthen around the major joints, such as the hips. We'll practice slow, juicy stretches to help you ease out tension and maybe pain from your body. And we'll practice breathing, pranayama, to help settle your mind and balance your nervous system. You don't have to have a back issue to benefit from these classes, but if you do, and actually even if you don't, please listen to your body. Be really mindful of how all of the movements and shapes feel for you, so that you don't place yourself in a place of strain or discomfort. For these practices, it's great if you have a block or something like a block and a strap. So let's get started. Beginning on your back. Make sure you're comfortable through your legs, so you could have your knees apart or the knees dropped in. Hands can rest on the belly or just placed on the ground. Closing the eyes, just take a minute to settle, to connect to the breath. And to also notice, where does the body sink down into the mat with ease? And where does the body feel like it's tensing away from the ground? So cultivating awareness to what's happening with you in your body in this moment. And with your attention to your breath, can you send the breath into those places that might feel a little tight or tensed? Can we use the breath to help relax the body? Can we send the breath into those places we might be unconsciously gripping and holding? Maybe we had an injury. Maybe we're trying to protect something in the body. Maybe we're holding on to something really old that is no longer serving us. So just an opportunity here to cleanse in a way, to let the breath help the body relax. Feeling the rise and fall of breath in the body, in the belly, in the chest, through the ribs. Bringing some movement into the neck. So you can keep your eyes closed or you can open them. And just slowly rolling the head side to side, so that the back of the head feels like it's sinking down to the ground as we roll to the right and roll to the left. And also bringing the chin in towards the chest and away from the chest. Noticing what kind of movement is available to you through your neck, and then again side to side. Bringing the hands onto forearms And shifting the elbows off to the left as the head rolls right. Bringing the elbows up to center and then over to the right as the head shifts left. So we can inhale, head and elbows to center, and exhale, elbows over, head opposite. Inhaling through center, exhaling over. We'll do that a few more times. One more time. You might keep your hands where they are. They might need to come closer towards the wrists. So we take the arms up overhead. Try not to overarch your back or your rib cage here. So find a little bit of the stability in the lower belly. And we'll bring the elbows back up. Elbows up overhead as the rib cage stays down. And then back. We're lengthening from pubic bone to navel. Keeping the buttocks relaxed. And let's do that one more time. Release by giving yourself a hug. Wrap your fingers around towards your shoulder blades. And then change so the other arm's on top as you wrap. And then release and bring the knees into the chest. As you exhale, bring the knees in close. As you inhale, knees away. Apanasana or wind releasing pose, stretching the lower back. Massaging into the digestive organs. And then circling ankles, circling wrists, waking up the joint body, encouraging the synovial fluid to flow into the joint capsules. And then let's start to cultivate some strengthening through the low belly pelvic floor area, so we can have the knees quite close together. And finding the neutral pelvis, we're not overarching, we're not flattening. There's a little bit of a curve in the lower back. This big smile or bikini line from one hip across to the other is drawing down towards the ground. Without, again, we're not flattening the lower back. And it's kind of like doing a zipper up from pubic bone to belly and holding that firm. But we're still going to breathe, so you'll feel the expression of breath more through your rib cage and your chest. So we keep all of this very quiet. This is called yoga marching. And you can work to the inhale or the exhale. So you decide. I'll start by guiding you with the inhalation. So as we inhale, we take the leg up. We call that tabletop leg. And as we exhale, we put the foot down. We inhale to lift the other leg up and exhale down. We continue to do this lifting. Watch that you don't bring the knee in past the hip joint, so that we maintain this strengthening through the low belly, pelvic floor. We bring the knee in, kind of disengages everything there. So you can continue like this. You could have your hands here in your hips to help you stay down through this area. You could have your arms at your side. And try to keep everything else relaxed so we're not gripping. Maybe, if this is feeling okay for you, you bring both legs up and down, which I find quite challenging. But you could also bring both legs up and then just lower one foot down. And then bring the legs up and down. You could also have the arms out more in a T if that helps you feel more stable through the upper body. Or dragon wing arms. So lots of options to find your variation of yoga marches. Last one to each side. And then you can release by bringing the knees in. Big knee circles out and around and in. So moving into the hip joints and the other way. And then we'll have the knees together, the heels just drop towards the buttocks, and the arms out in a T position or the bent elbow position to help keep the shoulder blades down without scrunching the shoulders up. So that the knees go over towards one side, but we're not lifting the shoulders up. And then they come back up and over to the other side. So the head can move opposite. Can bring the knees up. And we're not bringing the knees all the way to the ground, just towards the ground, head opposite, and then back up. So here we're asking the shoulders to stay stable as we do the side-to-side movement. Do one more to each side. And then we release. Let's take the block between the knees and set up the feet so we can feel the feet pressing down. We'll draw the elbows in towards the side body, palms facing towards one another to press the upper arms down. And let's take the pelvis to neutral. We're not flattening the lower back, we're not overarching. The action of the feet pushing down and the arms pushing down as we lift up into bridge pose. Careful to not clench the buttocks, and we're leaning into the block to help awaken and stabilize this big toe inner leg line. The arms can stay like that, or you can lower the arms, the palms down. Lengthening the tail towards the back of the knees. We want to lift the pubic bone higher than the rib cage. And then holding the block, beginning to roll down through the spine, vertebra by vertebra by vertebra by vertebra. We'll do this a couple of times. So we push down. You can go back to bent arms or arms down. We push down and lift up. This to a height that feels comfortable. It's the lowering down, vertebra by vertebra by vertebra by vertebra, that is the juiciness of this piece. It's where we can feel the articulation of our spine, can feel where we have movement. And where things might be a little stickier. We'll do that one more time, not rushing, lifting up when you're ready. And for this last one, let's see if we can roll down in super slow motion. When the tailbone comes all the way down to the ground, you can release the block and draw your knees into your chest and do a little rocking on your back. Before we come off our back, we'll do one-legged happy baby. So keeping your left foot down, take hold of the right foot from the outer edge of the foot, the inner edge, or somewhere along your leg, so that the sole of the foot looks to the ceiling. We're drawing the knee towards the ground, but we're trying to keep everything else relaxed, so we're not crunching up or lifting up. You can stay here, or you can let your left leg slide down to the ground. Placing your left foot back down if it was straight. Lower your right. Let's do the left leg. Holding the foot or the leg. Let the tailbone be heavy, let the upper back relax, and then you can lower the other leg down. Placing your left foot down, then your right foot down. We'll come over onto our side so that we can come onto hands and knees. So we'll come onto hands and knees for a tabletop, where we find neutral spine and set the foundation for plank. We're not flattening the lower back curve, and we're not overarching it. So we draw the navel up towards the sky, the low ribs up towards the sky, and lift a little bit between the shoulder blades, aligning the head to spine. Collarbones are wide, throat is soft. From here, the knees could come in a little bit closer, and we come onto the ball of the right foot. Once we come onto the ball of the foot, just reconnect to that little bit of lift between the shoulder blades so we don't start to collapse. A little drawing of the low belly, low ribs in, keeping the head level to the spine. You could stay here, or you can lift your right leg up, keeping the hips even, keeping the head level, and if you like, you can extend forward with your left arm into balancing cat. Soft through your throat, lengthen your neck, strong in your belly, but not holding your breath. From here we come back to hand and knees, and let the knees be a little bit wider apart. Take the right arm under and come down towards the ground. So if you feel like it's far from the ground, you might use your block for your head. The left hand can stretch overhead or stay where it was if that's more comfortable. And the seat is up But if you feel like it's more comfortable to go closer to your heels, you can do that as well. So just staying here for a couple of breaths. Then we'll come back to our starting foundation, tabletop, bringing the knees in, coming onto the ball of the left foot. So you can stay here. You're still strengthening, engaging. Or you could lift the left leg up and try to keep the leg level and the hip level. And if you like, you can extend forward with your right arm. So watch here that you're not lifting your head up. Crown of the head beaming forward, neck long, throat soft. Shoulders away from the ears. Coming down. And the left side, so we take the left arm under. The right arm can extend overhead. We come back to hands and knees. To child's pose, the knees can stay hip width apart, or you could have the knees wider, the big toes touching. Arms could go overhead. You can always stack your fists. Settling here for a few breaths. And from child's pose, we'll come to Sphinx down on our belly. And to begin, we'll let the legs be relaxed. So you can turn the feet out if you like. And be propped up on your arms where it's comfortable for you. So if this feels like it's too much in anywhere in your body, then maybe you want to get down a little bit closer to the ground. If this is okay for you, then the forearms are pressing down so we can actively draw our belly in. The jaw is relaxing back in the skull, the neck is long, the throat is soft. And we'll just do some slow turns side to side, helping to ease out any tension from the neck. We'll make our way right down onto our belly. And bring the arms alongside the body. Let's start with the palms face down. Our legs are about hip width, sitting bone distance apart, and we're on the top of the feet, so we're not tucking the toes under. You could imagine you're gently holding the block between the thighs, and you could lift the kneecaps here, but we'll do our best to not lift the feet, to keep the feet down. So an important part of strengthening our core is our center, is to strengthen the upper back muscles. So these movements help to strengthen our upper back. We'll come to the forehead. We'll keep the hands down. The pubic bone's heavy to the floor. The navel's drawing towards the spine, but we're not clenching our buttocks. With the inhalation, lifting right from your middle, coming up with the head as well, and then exhale, coming down. So when you land, you can land on your forehead or your cheek. We'll continue to do this movement. I want you to try to find the way of lifting from the middle, meaning not lifting by pulling the head up or the chin up. So you feel the breath in the lower back area around the sacrum. You let that initiate the breath or the movement so that we just come up, almost like we're just floating up from the ocean. Feet stay grounded, kneecaps can lift, and if this feels okay, you might even bring the arms up as well. We maintain the length in the neck, the softness in the throat. And let's do one more. Bring the hands forward, tuck the toes, come back to hands and knees. You can stay in tabletop, and still strengthening, or we try full plank, or you could also do half plank, which is a variation of tabletop with just a different angle to the knees. So in plank, same thing, we don't want to collapse. We want to draw up a little bit between the shoulder blades. The belly's actively drawing in, but we're not clenching our buttocks. Our throat is soft, the back of the head is over the spine. And we've got a little bit of a bend in our knees to help us keep the curve in the lower back. Holding that with breath, strengthening. And then we can rest in child's pose. And then let's practice one more plank. So plank is the number one place or shape to strengthen our bones, so we're weight bearing on our bones, and to strengthen our core. Again, our core meaning our center. Our core isn't just our stomach muscles. So come back to either your full plank or your half plank or your tabletop. We want to engage the belly without clenching. So just think of the bikini line drawing in, the pubic bone lengthening towards the belly. The crown of the head beaming forward, the heels back, and that feeling of strength in our shoulders, collarbones wide. Throat soft, long neck. And then back to child's pose. From here, we'll roll up to sit on the feet, unless you need to just sit on your seat. If you're comfortable on your feet, you can tuck the toes under, just to wake up our feet a little bit. And then we'll come onto our seat for the movement of cat-cow on our seat. And this movement, cat-cow, going between flexion and extension, is very therapeutic for the spine, and that it helps to keep it mobile, the whole spine, from our lower back to our upper back. And just be careful when you come forward that it's not a movement of thrusting the head back. Let's try to feel it more from the chest bone area, drawing up and, going back. So let's keep our arms straight this time. We're in the cat back. And come into the shape of the cow back by drawing the chest forward, sliding the shoulder blades down. The feet can come in nice and close together. Where you've maintained length in our neck, softness in our throat. And there's a feeling of the whole back body lifting up a little bit as opposed to us dropping in towards our lower back. This is the beginning of boat navasana, and you're welcome to stay here. Or to take the hands to the back of the legs, bring the feet up, the calves stay parallel to the floor, the knees together, so that big toe line strengthening. And we've maintained that little bit of a lift up the chest. We're not collapsing into our lower back. The hands can stay there or the arms can come forward. We come down. We'll bring the feet together. Big space, diamond shape between the feet and the pelvis. Sitting tall and finding the movement of forward bending in our pelvis so that we don't come forward from our back and our arms. Just to where you find that for your body. And then the hands can come around the feet or the mat or the legs, and we'll just allow the body to drape forward for a few breaths. Rolling all the way up. Bringing the legs together. We're going to make our way onto our back again. You can just slide your way down onto your back. You can roll down Pilates style with the legs straight or the legs bent. But we're drawing into our center, so we want to keep the legs together and reach back. So we're in a cat back to scoop the belly in as we roll down with control. And come all the way down to our back. And take a big stretch out. Arms stretched overhead. Feet reaching away, bringing lots of space between feet and hands. And then with your exhale, just bring your right knee into your chest. Give it a little hug. As you breathe in, release your right leg. Sweep your arms overhead. And as you exhale, knee to chest. Inhale to stretch out. Exhale, knee in. Inhale to stretch out. And exhale in. We'll do this one more time. As you bring your right knee in, so you could just stay here and reach out through your heels. Shoulders are away from your ears, belly towards the spine. Or you could come up, so with your breath on your exhalation, think of the cat back as you come up. So we're not scrunching shoulders or over flexing our neck. Got lots of space here in the throat. We're active in our low belly. We could stay here. We could bring the left leg up. You could stay here. You could bring your arms alongside the body in shooting arrow. We're going to lower the left leg down. Stretch the right leg up. Walk the hands up the leg, maybe a little bit higher towards the heel. And then lower down. Belly is active. Arms will come at our side as we lower down. Stretching out. As you exhale, left knee in. Again, you can stay here, reaching long through the heels. Finding the scoop of the belly, the anchor of the belly, shoulders away from the ears. And then if you like, on your exhale, think of finding cat back as you come up, so that we don't come up just by pulling our head up. We're spooning in, lifting up, so we're in flexion in our back without tensing our throat. The right leg might lift up. The arms might come side the body. We're breathing. And that left leg can go up, right leg down. We can walk up the leg towards the ankle. We can lower down, holding the leg. Actively rooting the belly, the lower ribs down as we lower the leg down. Stretching out. And then drawing both knees in, rocking a little bit, circling. Taking a moment to rest in Shavasana. You're welcome to put something under your legs if you have a bolster or a pillow. Welcome to support the head, just mindful to not prop the head up. Closing your eyes, letting your body release into the ground beneath you. Letting your mind and your body rest. Practice of surrender in Shavasana. Head ease side to side. Curling up into fetal position. Our very first asana we practice in womb. Using the help of the hands to push us up to sit. And sitting in a way that's comfortable for you. Might be with your legs straight or folded in, eyes closed. Again, just observing how you feel at the end of that practice. How you feel in your body, your breath, in your mind. Bringing the hands to Anjali Mudra. Namaste. So beginning on your back, come to a comfortable position with your legs and your feet. So that might mean that your feet are about hip width apart, or they could be wider or closer. Could be that your knees stay apart, or you could let the knees drop in towards one another. If it feels uncomfortable for you in your neck, shoulder, head area, like if you find your chin's pointing way up or there's just a lot of tension here, I suggest putting a little bit of height, maybe a blanket under your head, or rolling up a towel and placing it under your neck curve. But just be mindful that you're not like propping your head up. So we want to try to repattern all the curves in our spine back to their natural neutral state. So once you're set up and comfortable, we'll place the thumbs in the navel space and then joining the first fingers together so we have a diamond shape. Point the fingers down towards the pubic bone. Close your eyes. And just let your body relax as much as you can. Let your body sink into the support of the ground beneath you. Ungrip, unclench the body. Relax your mind. Soften your face. And bring your attention to your breath, to the sensation of your breath. And we'll start with noticing the feeling of our breath down at the base of the spine and in this low belly area. So just observing what you feel here between the hands, that diamond shape of the hands as you breathe in and out. Notice the rhythm of the breath, the volume of the breath. And each time you exhalation, try to relax a little bit more. Let go of any rigidity or clenching in your belly area, in your lower back area. Unclench the jaw, the buttocks. And feel the rise and fall of the breath in the belly. So that each time you take a breath in, the belly swells a little up, it expands, it fills. And each time you exhale, the belly hollows towards the ground. And try to lengthen the space between the breath so that your breath cycles become slower, longer, more mindful. So we're awakening our connection to the breath body and cultivating awareness in general. So really this is what the practice of yoga is awareness of connecting to the breath, of noticing the mind state, observing the physical body. So from here we'll just adjust our hands so we can feel the breath in the rib cage. So your hands can wrap around the ribs. You can keep your eyes closed or open them, keeping them soft. And the elbows will be out to the side. Again, watch that you're not lifting your shoulders to your ears. You've got lots of space between your ears and your shoulders. Here, feeling the expression of your breath through your rib cage. Particularly here, we're feeling the breath through the side body, so the lateral breath. Feeling of the rib bones widening out to the side when we breathe in, a spaciousness between the rib bones. And then the rib bones releasing, relaxing back in towards the center as we breathe out. And keeping your attention here with the sensation of breath. Observing what you notice with your breath, with your body. And then we'll shift the hands to feel the upper part of the torso, the lungs, so your fingers can point towards your neck and your throat. Palms can kind of nestle over the front of the chest. And feeling the sensation of breath here in the lungs, especially the upper part of our lungs. Our lungs are quite big. They take up a lot of our torso. And often we don't breathe with the full capacity of our lungs. So that when you breathe in, notice the feeling of your breath up high, where your upper fingertips are, to the collarbones and upper shoulders, even the neck space. And as you exhale, again, the softening, the letting go. Feeling of expanding the lungs fully, like big balloons filling up. And then a slow releasing of all the air, all of the breath from the lungs. And letting go of tension in our breath can be the first step of letting go of tension in the physical body. If our breath is shallow or choppy, then that can create a lot of holding in the body, a lot of physical tension. And then just to feel the full expression of your breath, one palm can rest around your belly area and one up towards your chest area. Feeling sort of an evenness of expansion through both hands as you breathe in. So the front body expanding upwards towards the ceiling, and then as you exhale, a feeling of the body sinking down towards the ground. The hollowing, the releasing. The inhale, the expanding. And the exhale, hollowing. And now with this next exhalation, we can bring both hands down to the belly again. Let's exhale the belly towards the ground and hold it there quite firmly. You can keep your eyes closed or open them. And continue to breathe, holding your navel towards your spine. Continue to breathe without clenching your jaw or your buttocks. And just notice how that has to happen. How does that feel for you when you've anchored your belly to the ground? So that we can find that stabilizing action of navel towards spine, of this drawing from pubic bone to navel, a slight drawing upwards from the pelvic floor. But we're still breathing, we're not clenching, so that the rib cage and the lungs sort of take over for the expression of breath. Nice. So we'll come back to that again. Just let that all go, and let's bring our knees into our chest. And a very simple but very therapeutic movement or yoga pose is called Appanasana, or knees to chest. Sometimes it's called wind releasing pose. On your exhalation, just gently bringing your knees towards your chest more, so the tailbone will slightly lift from the ground, and then with your inhalation, just letting the knees shift forward. And we'll move to your own breath rhythm, so that each time you exhale, the knees come in, and each time you inhale, the knees shift away. So this is very therapeutic for stretching the lower back, for massaging the digestive organs of the body. It's common to have digestive issues with lower back pain, again, just because things are so tense. So we kind of block the natural flow of things when we're tightening everything up. Especially if you have injury or pain in your back, it's a very natural response to pain is to grip. So if there's one thing you're going to practice every day, you could practice Appanasana. Yeah. And then the tailbone goes back down and we extend up with the legs and circle our ankles. So we wake up the joint body. We can bring the arms up and circle into the wrists. And then place the feet down and bring the right knee in towards you. So for this movement, you can keep your left leg how it is, or you could slide your left leg down. And this is similar to Appanasana with just one knee. So as we exhale, we'll bring the knee in. And as you breathe in, you'll let the knee shift forward. Moving to the rhythm of your own breath, so that when you exhale, you'll bring the knee in closer to you. And when you breathe in, you'll move the knee away. As the knee shifts away, bring your hands around the back of your leg and just simply straighten and bend at the knee. And we want to keep moving slowly. There's no rush. The slower we move, the more we can really integrate the movement into the mind and the body and the nervous system. The next time the leg is up, we'll circle around. If we're rushing, then we keep the nervous system a little hyper, a little overactive. We keep the mind overstimulated. So we just want to slow everything down so we can really observe what's happening for us in our body. Then we'll put that side down and bring the other side in. And again, the opposite leg could stay where it is or could slide down to the ground. Exhaling the leg in closer. Inhaling the knee away. Bringing the knee in as you breathe out. Shifting the knee forward as you breathe in. And doing that a few more times to the rhythm of your breath. Not rushing. Noticing how this side feels. Maybe it feels different than the other side. When the leg shifts forward, we just try to straighten and bend the leg. So coaxing our hamstrings to stretch out a little. Circling the ankle in both directions. And then placing that foot down and both feet down. You can bring the feet and the knees right next to each other. We'll open the knees out, so like a butterfly, soles of the feet touching. And then we'll bring the knees back together and the feet to the ground. We can open the knees with the in-breath and close them with the out-breath. Or you can do the other breath rhythm. As long as you're moving to the rhythm of your breath. So one phase of the breath, the knees go open, and the next phase they come together. And this movement helps to awaken the inner thighs and the pelvic floor muscles. And also is working a little bit through the outer thighs and hips. And let's just do that 2 more times to your own breath rhythm. Keeping the knees and feet together when you're done, and maybe just move the arms a little bit out of the way. So we'll let the knees roll to the right as the head rolls to the left, and we're not picking the feet up from the ground. We'll come back to center with the knees and the head, and then the knees can go left as the head rolls right. So inhale it up, and exhale, knees go right, head goes left. Inhale, we go up. And exhale, we go over. Left side with the knees, head turning opposite. Inhale up, and exhale over. Inhale up, and exhale over. Inhale up. Do it one more time. Exhale over. Inhale up. And exhale over. And come back to center. And draw the knees into the chest. So this Apanasana, knees to chest, if you like, when you bring the knees to the chest, you can also bring the forehead towards the knees, but mindful that you're not scrunching your shoulders or tensing. And then your inhale takes you back down. So with or without, your option is to lift your head up if you like. And then we go down. And we'll do that one last time. Placing the feet down, hip width apart, and finding the connection of the feet to stabilize your base. So feel the press down through the heels and the toes. This movement is a tilting of the pelvis. We call it pelvic rocking. We're not lifting or squeezing. We're keeping the pelvis down on the ground, but we're rocking the pubic bone away from the belly, which will arch the lower back curve. And then we're drawing the pubic bone towards the belly to flatten the lower back curve. So if you're familiar with cat-cow in yoga, it's that movement of the pelvis of cat-cow. Without, again, we're not trying to lift the pelvis from the floor. And moving to the rhythm of the breath, so one phase of the breath, you rock into your arched back, pubic bone forward, and then flat back without squeezing, pubic bone towards belly. And this movement can help us bring mobility into the lower back area in particular, which for many of us is often a tighter place in the spine from sitting a lot, from being in our car, sitting at a desk, or from standing with our back a little bit flat, our head a little bit forward. Let's just do that a couple more times. And this movement's also really helpful for helping us find neutral pelvis. So let's do that now. Neutral pelvis is somewhere between that arched back and flat back. So that you've got a little bit of a lower back curve. The pubic bone's not dropping to the ground or back towards the head. And you're wide across the front of the pelvis, so from one hip bone to the other. It's like there's a smile there. There's this nice big space for a smile. Or you could think of that as your bikini line from one hip bone to the other. And we're taking that bikini line and just asking it to move down towards the ground a little bit. So we're feeling for stability. But again, we're avoiding clenching the buttocks or the back or the shoulders or the tailbone. So we were activating the low belly area, pubic bone lengthening to belly, the low ribs dropping down towards the floor, but we're not holding our breath. So let's see how that works when we break it into a little bit of movement. And we'll take a block or something like a block to hold between the knees. From our big toes all the way up the inner legs to the pubic bone, that's called the big toe line. And it's our inner stabilizing line. So we hold onto the block, we find our neutral pelvis. We're not flattening the back, we're not overarching. We've got that wide smile drawing down, the ribs are quiet, but we're not clenching, we're still breathing. So we gently squeeze the block. We'll extend forward with the right leg. There's a little bit of a bend in my knee. I'm not over straightening the leg. I'm trying to keep the knees and the hip bones even. And I'm just practicing holding this with breath, which it's, well, I don't know for you, but for me it's more challenging than it looks. Yeah, so just be aware of how that feels for you on this side. If it feels like your body wants to tilt a bit, or if there's places in your body that want to grip. And then place your right foot down. So we're gently squeezing the block and we extend forward with that left heel, keeping the left knee a little bit bent. Knees are side by side, hips are even, breath is steady. So we're soft and relaxed in the face and the jaw and the tongue as we start to build strength. And you might notice one side's easier or feels different than the other. And then we'll place that down. We'll take the block out of the way and draw our knees into our chest. One more circling of our joints. We'll come over onto our side and up to hands and knees position. So in hands and knees position, knees are hip width apart and under the hips, and hands are under the shoulders, but for some of us, we might need to be propped on fists if we have wrist issues, or on forearms. So set it up where you're good in your wrists. And before we move in cat-cow, let's find neutral tabletop. And this is the foundation for plank. So that we've let the pelvis come to neutral, so we're not overarching or we're not flattening the lower back area. Our buttocks are relaxed. We've drawn the belly up towards the spine without clenching the buttocks. The space between the shoulder blades is a little bit lifted. We're not collapsing it. And the back of the head is aligned to the back of the spine, meaning we're not dropping the head forward. So we feel just a little bit of lift between the shoulder blades, and we let the collarbones be really wide. The throat is soft, so we're not lifting the chin. Same idea, we're finding the anchor in the low belly, maintaining a lower back curve, and finding our breath. From here, we'll start to move through cat and cow. And let's begin by coming into cat as we exhale, where we find that angry cat arched back position, looking in towards your belly. And then changing it through cow, where we lift through the tailbone and up through the chest and the gaze. Moving back and forth between cat, cow to the rhythm of your breath. And noticing these two shapes we're asking of our spine. Cat, we're in flexion. Cow, we're in extension. So you can stay with exhaling into cat and inhaling into cow, or you can change up the breath as well. Just to be curious about how it feels to breathe in the opposite way, that you inhale into cat and you exhale into cow. And this cat-cow pattern is generally safe for all bodies. It's a really good movement for mobilizing the spine. So try a few more cycles of cat-cow. And then from cat, set yourself up in or towards child's pose, which means you may get your seat right down to your heels, or maybe you want to put something at the back for your seat, or just have your seat up. The forehead doesn't come to rest on the mat. You could stack your hands or your fists. And if it's not comfortable for you, then don't suffer here. You could lie on your back or your belly instead. So let's just be here for a few breaths, feeling the breath in the back of the body, in the lower back, in the middle back, in the upper back. Walking a little bit off to the right with your hands and your head. You could keep your seat down, or you could lift your seat up if that's more comfortable. So we come into a side stretch for the left side of the body. And we take that over towards the left. And walk back to center. You could walk your hands to your knees, tuck your chin, and roll up to your feet. If that's not an option, just make your way onto your seat. So we'll come onto our seat and bring the feet together. And we want the feet away from the pelvis, so you have a nice diamond shape. And first we'll try to sit up with some length, so we're not collapsing. And to feel this movement coming from the hip area of the pelvis to tilt forward. So just to where you can tilt forward. And then to place the hands where they're comfortable, maybe around the feet or maybe up higher on the legs, and just allowing the body to drape forward. Staying here for a few breaths. Drawing the chin in slightly, coming all the way back up. Placing the feet quite wide, hands back, doing a few windshield wiper movements side to side. And then from here, we'll come down onto our back and take a moment to rest in Shavasana. And you're welcome to just ease your way down onto your back. Or if you want to try rolling down onto your back, you could also use your block. The legs could be bent, or you could have the legs extended straight. And this is a Pilates style roll down. So when you come down, we want to find the cat back. We want to reach back through the chest area so we can spoon and scoop the belly in. And you're trying to come down with control. And come all the way down to your back. You can take the block out of the way. And then just rest comfortably. Something under your knees if that feels better. Something under your head if you need. Closing the eyes. Letting your body rest in Shavasana. Letting go of effort. Letting go into the support of the ground beneath you. Easing your head slowly side to side. Drawing the knees towards you. Coming over onto one side to curl up into fetal position. And then using your hands to push down to help you come up. And sitting in a way that's comfortable for you with your eyes closed just for a couple breaths. Noticing how you feel. We'll take the hands together in Anjali Mudra. Namaste. We'll begin in stick pose, Dandasana, and we'll work with a block today as well. So sitting upright in Dandasana can be very challenging for lots of reasons: tightness in the hamstrings or the lower back or the whole back line of the body. A couple of things that might help is a little bit of height under the seat, like if you had a blanket or a smaller pillow, because this might be a little bit high. But if you had some height to sit on, you'd sit more towards the edge of it. Another thing that might help is putting something at the back of the knees so that the hamstrings aren't gripping, and to place the hands maybe back a little to help us bring the pelvis to a more neutral or slightly even forward position. We want to try to avoid something like this or this. So we're trying to come evenly over the seat, pretty uprightness here. Lower back curve is present. If the legs are able to be straight, then actively pushing the thighs down, reaching long through the heels, and perhaps the hands alongside the body. So Dandasana stick pose really asks us to be in our center, be in our strong core. Let's move through a few practices to help strengthen our core. And we'll begin by placing the feet about hip width apart and moving back and forth between the cat shape and the cow shape in the spine. The cat shape where we're rounding the back, we can look towards the navel. The cow shape where we're coming forward through the lower back, through the upper back, and a little bit through the neck. Careful to not find that lift through the chin. So we could go back and forth to exhale cat, inhale cow. It's very therapeutic movement for bringing mobility through the spine or into the spine. As we progress through the next few movements, you could always take a break and move through cat-cow, or just stay in cat-cow and rest. Let's use the block where we hold it between the knees. Place the hands on the shin bones and start to straighten the arms as we lean back. We want to be careful to not collapse into the lower back area, the upper back area here. So we don't want the cat back. At the same time, we don't want to overextend it. So we're trying to find almost a neutral back here. You're gently holding the block to keep us in this inner leg line, the big toe line of stability that feeds right into our center. And so for this practice, you might just stay here. The collarbones are wide. The neck and the throat are relaxed, and you're actively drawing the navel towards the spine and up, and feeling a lifting up through the lower back area, not a collapsing in. So as if somebody had their hands around the kidney area, and we're just gently drawing that flesh and those muscles up. From here, if you like, you can bring the legs up. You could also bring the arms out. You could flex at the ankles. So finding one of those variations where you can breathe. So as the belly is brought back towards the spine, we'll feel the breath more in the chest and our lungs. And come down and let the back round to release. And then let's try that again with a variation. So we lean back, arms are straight, we're hugging the block, we're activating the belly, collarbones are wide, throat is soft. We can lift our legs up. And then as if we're holding a big ball, that on the exhalation we take over to one side Bring it back to center, and we take it over to the other side. So we inhale through the middle, we exhale, feeling the twist through the waist, activating more through the obliques, holding the block to bring us into that stable inner leg line, big toe line. And do that one more time. And then we can come to feet and let the back round, releasing into the cat back. And then let's take the block away and bring the feet together. So we have a nice diamond shape here. The feet aren't in too close to start. We're finding the movement forward from the pelvis, from the hip joints, not from the back. And we just tilt forward, and then the hands can hold around the feet, and we're in a forward fold without just collapsing down. So we're keeping our head level to our spine, throat soft, neck long. Can bring the knees together as we come up, bring the feet in a little bit, open the soles again, reach around for the big toes, find the tilt back, the lengthening up from the lower back, collarbones wide, navel to spine, balancing by lifting the heels up, and maybe extending the legs a little bit towards a V shape. You might gaze up. Together, maybe bringing the arms out and coming down, just a couple cat-cows. We'll come around to hands and knees and bring this to Sphinx pose. We're down on our forearms. And we'll come on to the top part of the feet, so we're slightly engaged through the legs, navel towards spine, collarbones wide, lengthen the neck. We can look to the right, and we can look to the left. Head to center, coming down with the elbows out to the side. We'll pick the left leg up, slightly take it out to the side, kick and straighten, kick and straighten. Doing this a few times, and then giving that leg a few circles around, strengthening around the glutes, both directions. Bringing the leg back and down, lifting the right leg up and over, a kick and release a few times. Keeping the legs straight and lifted to circle. In both directions. And back and down. Coming back up to Sphinx. Tucking the toes under. So strongly pressing down through the forearms, drawing the belly towards the spine. Actively drawing the navel towards the spine as we lift the hips up. And perhaps lift the knees up so that our shoulders are over our elbows. Our head is level to the spine, not dropped. Trying to keep our hips level to our shoulders so that we're in Sphinx plank. Building strength in our bones, strength in our core. We come down, And just rest. So you could look to one side, you could swish the knees side to side. Let's do that one more time. So you could always practice Sphinx plank with the knees down. We're still strengthening, drawing the navel in, keeping the head level, keeping that little bit of a lift between the shoulder blades. We're not collapsing. Or maybe your legs are straight. You're reaching back through your heels. And then we come down to rest. You could look the other way and circle or rock side to side. Coming back up to hands and knees and onto our back. Either just sliding your way to your back or rolling down vertebra by vertebra. We'll use the block when we're on our back, so have it handy. Once you come all the way down to the back, you can just give your knees a hug. And then let's take the block and place it between the knees. Situate the feet so you could maybe even touch the heels. And we want the toes to point more or less forward, or maybe even a little bit pigeon-toed with the feet, heels slightly out. As we press the feet down, gently squeeze the block. We'll come up into bridge with the arms sweeping up overhead. And then we start to come down through the spine, vertebra by vertebra, as the arms come back down to the ground. So let's try that a few times. Moving to the breath, the inhalation will come up. The exhalation will start the roll down as the arms come down, feeling the movement of the spine, the articulation of the vertebrae. Try it one more time. We set the pelvis in neutral. We're not overarching, we're not over flattening. We're engaged through the big toe line, fingers reaching towards the heels, collarbones wide. Notice what's touching the ground here, what's pulling away from the ground. Can you try to relax your whole back into the ground? We activate the navel, but continue to breathe without squeezing or clenching the buttocks. We'll take the hands around to support the head, so we lift the head up. Bring the feet up if you like. If it's too much, you could leave your feet down. Watch the belly doesn't pop up, the ribs don't pop up. And then similar to what we were doing on our seat, as you exhale, we come to the side. So the elbows moving side to side. Head supported in the hands, knees hugging the brick. Feeling this movement through the waist, through the side body, through the obliques. And do that one more time to each side. And then we can take the block away, hug the knees. With your exhalation, you can curl up. And then we lower the tail down. We'll keep the knees together and the heels drop towards the buttocks. The arms can be either out in a full T, palms up or down, or bending at the elbows. Whatever feels comfortable for you and helps you to keep your collarbones wide, your shoulder blades down. The knees come over towards the left. Circle away and around and up to the right. So the knees go forward, you feel the tailbone down, and then the tailbone
lifts a little as you bring the knees over to the side. So we're tracing this big sort of smile through the back of the pelvis. At the same time, we're actively pressing down through the back, keeping the shoulder blades from lifting towards the ears. Let me just do that a couple more times. And finishing on the other side. Coming back to center, drawing the knees in. So we'll play with this movement of the knees coming in and away, but without using our hands on our legs. So the arms can just be at your side. So on your exhalation, bringing the knees in, tailbone lifting, and then placing the tail back down. You can stay with this, or you could straighten one leg, both knees in. Opposite, both legs in. So building strength without hurting your back. So work with the variation that does not create you strain or pain in your body today. Maybe both legs straight and in. Hopefully feeling a little fire in the belly. A few more. Nice, hug the knees, cross the ankles. We'll keep going a little bit more. Extend up with the legs, bring the hands back. The curling of the tail, lifting of the tail action on the exhalation. Just squeeze and lift up. The head can come up and then to lower down. So we lift up, watch we're not pulling the head forward, we're squeezing and lifting. Not throwing the legs, squeezing and lifting. Cross the ankles the other way, try a few more. You're going to draw the knees in, stretch the legs towards a V shape, bring the hands around the back of the legs. So we'll open the legs as we breathe in, close them as we breathe out. Trying that a few times. And then if you like, you could lift the head up and the head down. Again, watch the elbows aren't pulling on the neck. The head stays heavy in the hands. Do it one more time. Still holding the head, bend the knees. As you extend your right leg forward, you take the left elbow back, center the knees, the head, left leg straight, right elbow back. Inhaling center, exhaling to the side. And do one more to each side. Lower down, hug the knees. You could rock a little bit. Coming into happy baby, keeping the tailbone heavy to the ground. Bringing the knees into the chest. And then feet down, arms can be relaxed. We just let the knees go side to side, feet close together. And then a few of those with the feet wider apart. Last one. Back to center. Right knee in, left leg down. Shooting arrow as we bring the forehead up towards our knee. Again, watch you don't over flex the neck. Throat soft. Left leg can come up. Arms can come alongside the body. Actively trying to root the belly towards the floor. And then we'll reach up with that right leg. Hands can go up that right leg. Lower the left leg down and lower the head down. Arms alongside your body as you lower your right leg all the way down to the ground. Left knee in. Forehead up without crunching the neck, right leg up, root the belly, arms alongside, shooting arrow. Left leg can go up. We walk up. Lower the right leg, lower the head. And then arms at your side. And we come all the way down. Hugging the knees to the chest, rocking a little bit on the back. And then to stretch out through the front of the body, let's use the block one more time between the knees, just to help us stay really centered through our legs, our hips, our spine. Arms stay flat to the ground as we push the feet down and lift up into bridge pose. Trying to keep the hips level, maybe tucking the shoulders under, not compressing the neck. Holding the block, but noticing if the buttocks want to clench. So we don't want to clench the buttocks. Drawing the tailbone towards the back of the knees. And then we'll begin rolling our way down, vertebra by vertebra by vertebra. Come all the way down. You can get rid of that block. Draw the knees in. And then just take a rest in Shavasana for a moment, relaxing the arms, the legs, closing the eyes. Letting go of any effort with the breath. Taking this opportunity to rest the mind, rest the body. Let the head roll side to side. You can open your eyes. And then curl over onto one side. And with the support of your hands, so this is a nice way to also get out of bed in the morning, to come onto your side, to use the support of your hands to get you up. And then into a comfortable seat, eyes closed. Joining the palms together, Anjali Mudra. With gratitude for our practice. Namaste. Let's practice Kapalabhati breathing, also known as shining skull or breath of fire. Kapalabhati is an energizing breath and also very good at strengthening the lower belly area. The way that we practice Kapalabhati is to draw the navel quite forcefully towards the spine as we exhale, and to just let the belly relax on the breath in, focusing on the exhale so that it's not a conscious inhalation. The inhalation will just happen on its own. One way that we can practice finding the movement and the breath is to pant like a dog as we pull the belly towards the spine. Let's try that first. Did you feel it in your belly area? So that's where we want to feel it. We don't want to feel it from the chest or the throat. So we want to sit up tall. And we'll practice Kapalabhati with a fairly slow, steady rhythm. Let's try it together, this time with our mouth closed. Coming into a twist to the right, just letting the breath relax and find its rhythm. And around to the left. Coming back to center. We'll try one more round. You may practice that slower rhythm or try a slightly faster rhythm. Let's begin. This time releasing, folding forward. Drawing the chin in towards the chest as we come up. Then releasing the chin. And returning to your natural breathing. Perhaps noticing a little fire or heat in the belly, a little awakening there in the low belly. Namaste. Let's practice alternate nostril breathing, Nadi Shodhana. Wonderful breathing practice, pranayama practice to help us balance the nervous system, which will hopefully help us balance our mind and our body and all of our systems. So begin by finding a hand position, a mudra. You use your right hand, and the thumb will gently close the tip of the right side of the nostril. The next two fingers can either curl in or can rest between the eyebrows so that the last two fingers are available. So thumb gently pressing on the end of the nostril,
Next two fingers to between the brows or curled in. Last two fingers ready. And we'll begin by exhaling out through the left nostril. You can keep your eyes open or close them. And then breathe in through the left nostril. And with those last two fingers, gently close off the left nostril. And then open the right side to exhale out through the right side. We're breathing in through the right nostril. Gently closing, so we hold. And then we open the left nostril to exhale. Finding a pretty even breath rhythm, sitting up nice and tall. So breathing in left side, 2, 3, 4, holding. Breathing out, right side, 2, 3, 4, pausing. Breathing in, right side, 2, 3, 4, holding. Breathing out left side, 2, 3, 4, pause. Breathing in left side. Closing left side. Opening right, exhale. Breathing in right side. Closing. Breathing out left side. Breathing in left side. Closing. Breathing out right. Breathing in right. Closing. Breathing out left. Breathing in left. Closing. Breathing out right. And then we'll finish by breathing in right. Holding. And breathing out left. Eyes closed, lowering your right hand down. Noticing the breath in the nostrils, the sensation of the breath streaming in and out through the nostrils. Noticing how you feel at the end of alternate nostril breathing practice, where we've balanced the two major energy channels in the body, Ida and Pingala. And then just easing the eyes open.